Hello and welcome to the GMX podcast. This is your very first episode of Backlogs and Replays. The idea behind this podcast will be for Finn and I to talk about our backlog of shame and figure out what games we are going to play over the next couple of weeks. Hopefully we can find stuff that is the same in both our backlogs. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of overlap. And let me tell you, Finn, I started making a list of my games last night, and just starting with physical ones, and I thought, hey, this is encouraging. But then I got into the PC side of things, and oh my gosh, do I have a lot of games I've not played. It's rather embarrassing. I haven't even looked on my PlayStations yet or my Xbox, but it's not pretty. It's really not pretty. Like I've said it before, I think on our regular GMX podcast, where I've said things like, I could probably go without buying a game for the next 2 or 3 years and not run out of things to play. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's true. I thought I was exaggerating, but it's not good. It's not good.
I'm pretty sure I would never have to buy a game again for the rest of my life. If I really wanted, like, I could be playing video games like from the the early noughties up in when I was in my 70s, like in like 30 or 40 years time, and I'd be like, yeah, the technology is old, but I got to get through these games. I got to get through them. It's crazy. Like, and the funny thing is, I think you and I are very similar, and I think a lot of the gaming community is similar in that we want to save money, so we wait for sales. And especially when I was doing PC,
Yep.
You have these
Yep.
crazy Steam sales where you get like,
Yes.
a pretty good title for like $5 or something. You go, well, I got to get that. Like, even if I
it's
don't
so
play
cheap.
it, I
How
should
can I
buy
not
it.
buy it?
And it's like, yeah, but if you buy 20 of them and you don't play them, probably you're better off just getting the $100 Game of the Year edition game that you really wanted to play and just playing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking now at my Xbox. I'm just looking over in my TV in the next room, looking at my Xbox, and we just started doing this before we went live. And yeah, like the all games is a little bit of a misnomer, I guess, because it includes everything. But like my own games, I've got well over 100. And then in Game Pass and Games with Gold, I've got another 100 games with Gold. And then Game Pass is 400 and something. Now, Game Pass,
Yeah.
you can't really count them necessarily because they includes a lot of games that you would never pick up and you're not interested in, etc. But having said that, though, like I would say, like the vast majority of the games I played on the Xbox in the last year or two, they've all been Game Pass games. So
Interesting.
it's kind of hard to. It's funny, like it's another example of like, well, I'll do this and I'll save money. So I pay for Game Pass, and then I play 1 or 2 games a month, and I haven't done the calculations as to whether or not that's economical or not. I think it probably is. Like, I probably would have picked up things like Forza and Starfield and whatnot, and a couple of games like that a year probably makes it worth your while, especially if you didn't pay full price for it. But it's still, though, when you add it to all the other games you already have, it's a bit overwhelming.
Yeah. I'm probably a bit different on that front. Like, I've been looking at Game Pass, and seriously, I probably won't renew it because I really, other than, Hellblade 2 just came out. That's the first game I've played out of Game Pass in a long time. It just, most of the stuff in there, I either own it already because a lot of it's older content too, like all the first party stuff from Xbox. So I already own the games. And there's just not a lot of new ones that really interest me or keep my interest. I do want to get to Diablo 4 eventually, but frankly, I did start it. We talked about that in our last show a bit. I played 45 minutes or so and realized, I got to finish the other games I'm playing before I get into that, right? And especially now, like if we're going to start looking at some older games that we haven't played that we have purchased, it's going to be even harder to get into Game Pass for me. I think it's kind of a fun mission in a way to try and work our way through some of these old games and get them done. I've got one on my 360 I've been wanting to play, geez, since the day I bought it. Like, you know, a decade ago or whenever it was, like over a decade ago, called Condemned. I keep hearing it's a great game. It's sort of, you know, horror genre, and I like that type of stuff. I started it a long time ago, played about an hour, and I forget what I was playing at the time that I thought, oh, I better play this first. But then something else came out, and something else came out, and something else came out, and Condemned was already an old game at that point. So I just never went back to it. And it just becomes this never-ending cycle of old games just sit there and rot in digital land, and we never go back to them. So I'm excited about the concept anyway of trying to give this a go and see if we can egg each other into playing some old games that we just have left go by the wayside.
I think there's a couple of things going on. Like when I look through the list of games on Game Pass, I forget sometimes some of the games that I play and my kid play on a pretty regular basis are in Game Pass, like Minecraft and Lego Star Wars he loves. So yeah, I think I like Stardew Valley, which is one of the ones I was going to talk about today a bit about. Like I know I mentioned it before, but I might get a bit of a rude awakening if I cancel Game Pass and suddenly like, okay, that's not there, and I have to buy Minecraft now, or I have to buy a Stardew Valley or whatever. So yeah, I feel the same about PlayStation though. Like I've hummed and hawed about whether I'd renew PlayStation Plus, even the basic pattern. And then when they came out with premium and whatnot, I went the whole hog and got it. It's all this kind of fear of missing out, which is kind of similar to the whole when you see like a game for $5 on Steam that you would never think about buying usually, and you say, well, I gotta buy it now. But there's a bunch of stuff like on Game Pass as well. Just again, scanning through it, like there's like the Doom games are on there, which I haven't played. I know you have. A bunch of Assassin's Creed, the more recent ones, like Valhalla is on it there now as well. So I started playing that, and I don't remember what I got distracted with, but I got distracted with something. It wasn't bad. It seemed like it was going to be a decent game. I played for a few hours. So yeah, there's just too many games in too little time, I guess, is what it comes down to.
Yeah, and for some reason we keep buying more, and I'm not sure why. But
it's a fear of missing out, like, because you think, maybe it's good. Like and every now and again, like a perfect example of a couple of years ago, it was like probably 5 years ago now. I know I told you the story one-on-one before, but I was like, okay, I want to get the next good game for the PlayStation. What is the best game on the PlayStation? What is the very best game? And I'm just going to buy it. And I must have looked at I looked at Watch Mojo and watched a bunch of other like game channels as to what were the best games available on the PS5 and PS4 right now. And it kept on coming back consistently. It was always in the top 3, but usually 1 or 2 was Witcher 3. And I had it sitting in my library for I don't know how long. So I was like, well, I couldn't think of any reason not to play it. So I played it, and sure enough, it's one of the best games I've ever played. But I don't know. Like I'm sure there's a lot of gems in there, and maybe more so for me than for you, because I know it's not your thing, but I don't mind some of the indie games they drop as well on PlayStation Plus and Xbox. So I'd be more likely to play something like, again, just reminding myself there of what they're like. I played Inside, for example, from start to finish, which was on Game Pass. I
started it. I played.
How did you think of it?
I think I played it for a few hours anyway. I mean, it was kind of okay, but it just didn't grab me enough for me to want to finish it. Side scrollers.
I know. It's just the whole experience though is. I found it very immersive for a side scroller, at least. Anyway, and it's pretty creepy as well when you go along a little bit later. It's a good game, but
I think where I stopped playing, I had to run. I was kind of running through a forest area or something.
Yeah, that's quite near the start, I think, if I
Yeah, it
recall
was like a
correctly. And
couple hours maybe that I'd played
yeah,
it. Something like that.
it's not what you'd call an uplifting game, especially
Yeah.
towards the end. But
Yeah.
it reminded me of like sitting down and watching an old black and white movie, but it's still a good story. Like it doesn't have all the CGI special effects, but it's a good story. So yeah, that's kind of my thing as well.
Yeah, like I'm looking over at my Xbox, and I've got what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 Assassin's Creed games. I have completed 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So,
Yeah.
but do you own those, or do you?
Yeah, those are in my owned. Those are owned.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I keep thinking, ooh, that's cheap. A lot of them are for the 360,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's a problem. I think I got some of them from the Games with Gold. Well, no, I'm not looking at Games with Gold. These are ones I owned. I can't use that excuse.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are literally games I bought and never played.
You're always trying to like recreate. Like I really enjoyed the first Assassin's Creed. I wasn't a big fan of, but then the Ezio trilogy I thought were excellent at the time. They were very, very good games, and I really liked the main protagonist. And then I think the next one they had was 4, which wasn't great. Was it 3? And then 3 wasn't great if I recall correctly. And then Black Flag. I know you and I both love that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Black Flag.
And then they've come out with a bunch of ones that I bought, like Odyssey and what was the other one? Origins.
Yeah, I played half of Origins roughly.
Yeah, they just,
I lose interest.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, and when you have so many games, if it doesn't kind of grab me in the first couple of hours, there's a strong likelihood I'll never come back to it.
Yeah, I played Brotherhood and I played Black Flag. Those are the only 2 I've ever finished.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. That's pretty pathetic.
It is kind of sad.
Yeah, it is. It is actually and I have Odyssey. I've never even started it.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I'm any less sad than you, but it is sad nonetheless. Like
that's kind of pathetic.
I'm just looking.
That's just in the A's, man. That's just in the A's. And there's other games in the A's that I haven't played too. Like Army of 2, I don't even know what that is. It's a 360 game, but apparently I felt the need to buy it one day. I don't know.
So my collection on PS, so I've got PlayStation Plus on one side, and then I've got my collection, and I'm not sure there's overlap for sure, but I've got like almost 500 games on the PlayStation. Yeah. And I can tell you, I haven't played 500 of those games.
No, I'm looking on the purchase section because I have my PS4 up right now. I don't have my PS5 up. But I'm just looking at purchases. So 279. I don't think I bought all these games. I think, well, it does show some of them are Plus. Yeah, those are PlayStation Plus. It shows the Plus beside them. I just noticed. But nonetheless, there's a lot here.
Search just for ones. Because I can't see a filter.
Maybe what we'll have to do in the future is you would need a capture card, some kind of OBS setup, because then we could show each other the lists off our games.
Dude, I'm not sure I'm ready for that. I'm not sure I'm ready for that shame.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but I mean, I see a lot of mine. I guess that's so out of my 279, 101 of them are ones that I bought, I guess.
How do you see that? You're looking at PS4, right? I'm looking at PS4.
I'm looking at PS4, and I see 178 that are PlayStation Plus, and 279 total. So that tells me 101 of them I bought. So I'm going to ignore PlayStation Plus games, but
Yeah, you have to remember as well, some of
Yeah,
them could be in
man.
both, right? Like some of them, like some games, like some of the Assassin's Creed games, for example, I bought and then didn't play for 3 years, and eventually they came to PlayStation Plus, so they could appear in both. Uh,
Yeah.
oh my god, it is shocking though it's shocking to think about the games that you bought, and I can definitely make the excuse that, well, they were all cheap, but they weren't all that cheap, because I would often wait for, if a game came out and it got pretty decent reviews, I would often wait for the Game of the Year edition, which is generally $40 and up or whatever, even if it's on
Right.
sale. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that for all the folks out there that may be watching this, that's in Canadian funds, so that's like $2 US. So
Yeah.
$40 in Canada.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. And there's games I'm coming across here like as well, like, oh shit, I didn't even know I had that. Like Horizon Zero Dawn, I guess I bought that at some point. And
That was actually my favorite game probably on PS4, oddly enough. Considering like I could have played, what is it? Horizon Forbidden West was in PlayStation Plus, and I think it's gone now, which I find very bizarre that PlayStation removes games that are their own, but whatever. That's a whole nother topic. But I tried playing it, and I just could not get into that game. I played for a couple hours. I was done. It just seemed, I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't in the right mindset to play it at that point in time.
I
But
think I was going to say that, like, I think that's got a lot to do with it because, again, I started The Witcher 3. I probably started like 3 times at least. And there's a section near the start where you're with Ciri and you're training with her. And I always found it quite boring. And every time I got to that section, the first 2 times I got to that section, I was like, oh, I'll come back to this. But the third time was after I had seen all those reviews about what a good game it was, and I said,
yeah,
okay, I'm going to plow through it. And I do think you need, like, one of the best examples. One of the other best games I've ever played is Red Dead Redemption, and I think I've bought Red Dead Redemption 2. I bought it at least twice, maybe more, because I think I bought the regular versions for Xbox and for PS5. And then I think I got a special edition version as well when it was on sale. But
right.
what I loved Red Dead Redemption, I couldn't get past the start of the second one. It just was so
It was
dull.
slow, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was, man, I just couldn't get, and I'm sure there's an amazing game waiting, if I can just, but why should I have to suffer? Why not make it fun at this?
Good choice of words.
Yeah,
Why make me suffer?
yeah, like, it's the epitome of a first world problem there. But yeah, like,
Yes.
why not make it fun at the start, like, and then get into the monotony and the character development a little bit later. Like, make it fun to catch my interest and get me immersed, and then make me walk through the snow at like half a kilometer an hour.
Boring the crap out of you, making you suffer. We might have a lawsuit here, pain and suffering induced.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
there's a class action we can take against them.
Yes.
And like, there's some games as well, like, and like, I kind of consider some of the PlayStation Plus collection, for example, almost as part of my own personal Hall of Shame, because the like I loved I think it was Hitman 2, and I got Hitman 1, and then Hitman 3 I think came out on PS Plus, and I'll downloaded it, it's ready to go, and it's just sitting there. And then whenever I get, like, you, especially on the Xbox, whenever they drop a new game, and I'm like trying to move crap around because of Xbox's ridiculous 1 terabyte, and you can't expand it except for their special
like
magical
$5 million freaking expansion cards.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, but I don't want to delete Hitman 3 because I know I'll play that. So I'm trying to move everything around to get it on there. But so I almost consider that part of my collection. But yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem for sure.
It's painful. I've been scrolling through on PlayStation 4, and I'm pleasantly surprised to see that most of the games I've played on my PS4. I guess that's a symptom of only having 100. It makes it easier to play them. But I spent a lot of time on PS4 for the first few years of the generation. So even though a lot of that was playing Destiny, surprisingly, I seem to have played a lot more than I thought I did on here. Or at least I've played the games. Maybe I didn't play it on PS4, but I've played it since on PC or something. So I don't feel like I need to go back to PS4 and replay it or anything.
So some of the ones that jump out at me, though, like are all the Assassin's Creed since Black Flag, as you mentioned. I downloaded a bunch, or I bought a bunch of Star Wars games. Battlefront 2, which is on sale quite a bunch of times. I've bought that. I don't know why I bought it, because I didn't like Battlefront 1, but it was on sale, so I bought it.
Well, the campaign in Battlefront 2 is decent. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the campaign. The best part was getting to play as the Empire. As soon as they made me play as the Rebels, I thought I was going to be able to like be on the Empire side the whole time, but no.
Then I got which came out in PS. This is an example of something that came out in PS Plus afterwards. I think was Squadrons, Star Wars Squadrons, Dragon Age Inquisition. Like, I don't know, that's an old game now, but I got super good reviews, and so I bought it.
I think I own that on 360. Oh man!
And the funny thing is, like, I see these games that I downloaded and never played. And then other games that I've, like, when I look at here, like Metal Gear Solid 5, how many, like, dozens or hundreds of hours I poured into that game. Like, getting every last freaking plant, getting, like, you know, doing every last little side mission, etc. Even as boring as it was sometimes, when you'd done everything and killed everyone and there was nothing else left to do, I kept on, like, trying to get, like, the last few achievements from it. As opposed to playing a new story from the start. I don't quite understand the way my own brain works, honestly. Persona 5, that's another one.
I don't understand how your brain works either, dude. So it's all good.
Someday, Skyrim. Like, I know you love Skyrim. I bought it. I think I bought Skyrim. Like, I got it on Game Pass, but I bought it on PlayStation and I bought it on PC. Never played it.
I put, I think, around 300 hours into Skyrim. It's good. Like, it was a great game. I really enjoyed it.
There's a bunch of those Telltale. I really like the Telltale games. The Walking Dead. Yeah, like when they came out near around when The Walking Dead was on TV and it was still good. Probably like the first or second season, I think they came out. Maybe the third season. The first one came out, and I played all of them. And then there was another Telltale game came out, The Wolf Among Us, which I also really liked quite a lot. And then I proceeded to buy every single Telltale game there was, including other games that were like the Telltale game, like Life is Strange. I bought all the Life is Stranges, and I never played any of them. But I'm like, I liked that one before, therefore I should buy all these other ones.
Yeah.
I've got Horizon Forbidden West as well. I got both Spider-Mans. I played the first Spider-Man for a little bit. I think I had the difficulty turned up a little bit too hard because the first boss fight was very infuriating, and I think I threw my joypad down in disgust at some point.
Yeah. I don't know. We should probably try and figure out what to play, though. Yeah, there's Dragon Age. I have Dragon Age. Yeah, and Dragon Age 2. Both 360 games.
Yeah, that's the one that's supposed to be very good. What's this one here?
What else is in the Ds that I haven't played? I haven't played... Like, I played Dead Space the remake. I got all 3 of the original Dead Spaces. Never played them.
Oh, actually, that reminds me. I think some of it was on your recommendation as well. What's that one? It's kind of like a space opera one. There's 2 actually. BioShock was one you recommended. Bought all the games. Didn't play any of them. And the other one was crap. What was the one that was like such an epic game? Yeah.
So BioShock.
Okay.
Should we make that a game? Like, I'll do it as a replay.
Okay.
You can do it as a backlog, because
Okay.
I've been trying to like slowly rebuild some of my physical collection. So I actually bought the 360 version on disc when there's a store close by our place called Just for Fun that my daughter or my son, they both like going there. So I took the kids there Monday on the holiday, and we went in and picked up a few things. But I pick up their physical copies of 360, and that's where I get any Xbox game I buy now. I just buy the physical copy used from them. So yeah, I got BioShock on disc for my 360. I'm going to play it in its original glory on the 360. No, I'm lying. I'll probably play it on PC, but I might actually, maybe I will throw it in the 360 just for fun and play a bit there too. But I remember when I first got BioShock, I actually borrowed the disc from one of my friends, and man, the first opening part and getting to the lighthouse, I was in awe of the graphics on that game. I thought it was so amazing, so incredible, and
So
I just
remember
loved
that's
the
what
game.
I just remember that's what you sold me on as well. You were like, what's it called again? The area or the place that Eden or something like that, or something.
Oh geez, now because you said Eden, there you made me. Oh, shoot, what's it called?
Anyway.
Maybe it is Eden. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But
you
yeah,
said like when you go down some elevator or something, and then suddenly it's incredible. It's going to blow your socks off. And I did, and I was like, yeah. And so
yeah, give it a bit. You got to get into it. You got to start harvesting the children and getting the atom out of them and building your powers and avoiding Mr. Bubbles and stuff. And yeah, it's pretty good.
Like Batman, like I love the Batman games, most of them, until I came to Arkham Knight, and I hated the controls for the Batmobile. I hated them. It was so clunky and ugly and yucky, and you couldn't not do it. And so I just stopped. I liked the fighting. I like rolling around and punching guys and jumping up and punching another dude and then throwing a batarang at someone or whatever. But yeah, the control of that Batmobile just turned me off completely.
100% with you on that. Like I tried replaying that game. I was trying to make myself play it on my Steam Deck. I shouldn't say make myself play it, but yeah, essentially that's what it was. Because again, it's stupid controls for that Batmobile. I got way farther on my Steam Deck than I did playing it on console or even on PC. Just because, hey, it kind of can just sit wherever and play. But yeah, it's a frustrating game. I'm not gonna lie.
I just found like that it felt like the Batmobile was just sliding all around the place. I was smashing into walls, and just like it was so annoying to me. Like I was like, oh my god, this sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Yeah, I mean, I guess they want to expand their horizons, which is fair. You want to see people doing that, but I was like, yeah, that did not make it into a better game in my opinion.
For sure.
So the other one then that maybe we can do, and it could be a replay for me and backlog for you, is Fallout 4 maybe, since I think you were looking at that as well.
I can do that. I just I've been playing it. I started it a little bit on my Steam Deck. I think I'm like level 5 or something. I'm actually, gonna toot the horn of my Steam Deck again. I'm really surprised at how well it can play games that just don't run that great. Like even on last gen consoles, it plays way better on the Steam Deck. I'm so surprised by that all the time. Like, sure, I guess, like the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, they're playing at a higher resolution. But, the fact that I can play Fallout 4 at a locked 45 frames per second on my Steam Deck with decent settings, graphically it looks pretty good. And if I lower the settings, I think I could get close to 60. Even with the settings I'm on, it'll stay in the 50 sort of range. It just always surprises me. for something that's drawing like 15 watts of power or less most of the time, and you can get 3 or 4 hours of battery life out of it. It just blows my mind.
I have never owned. I've thought about it many times, and I understand the Steam Deck is a little bit of a different animal, but I have never owned a handheld console. As far as I know, I was tempted with the Vita at the time. A few times I was thinking about picking up one of the little Nintendos. Never ended up doing it. And it's kind of the same reason as, like I say to you, I mean, okay. Like when I say to you about like I like playing console, it is because I'm particularly affiliated with the console versus PC. It's like I like sitting on my big chair with my big 65-inch TV that I'm pretty close to, and having like that just so cover my eyes side to side, and I just the appeal of playing on a smaller screen was just never really there for me. Even on the PC, sometimes I'm like, yeah, it would be better. I know you want the refresh rate. I want the big screen,
Yeah. Well, I do have my PC monitor is fairly large. It's a 38-inch ultra wide, and I'm sitting, a couple feet away from it. So it does, with its curve, encompass my vision quite well. And I'll slide back farther. Like if I'm playing a first-person shooter, I don't want to have the screen so close, because if I'm looking for enemies, I don't want to have to move my head to see it.
Yeah.
I want to be a little further back so that I can, pick it up in my peripheral and play.
Calories if you're moving your head too much.
Yeah. No, I don't want to do that. You got to be careful about getting too much exercise. But yeah, like, maybe you just need a bigger monitor for your PC. You can get like 43-inch OLEDs and junk now.
Yeah, maybe like, but your Steam Deck, I assume you're playing it on the small screen on the Steam Deck.
Yeah, it's like a 7-inch.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm tempted to try it out.
It's actually a fairly large device.
Yeah, it's not like a Vita for sure, or like one of the little Nintendos.
Yeah, no. It's more substantial than that. I mean, it's a lot more powerful than a Switch as far as like horsepower. And I mean, if you wanted to, there's emulation stuff you can do. Like there's all kinds of junk you can do with it. Like I can play my PlayStation 5 games via streaming on my Steam Deck. I don't need a PlayStation Portal. I can play my PS4 games on my Steam Deck. I can stream from Steam on my PC to my Steam Deck. It's quite versatile. There's a few hoops to jump through to get some of that stuff working. The only thing I can't do is play Game Pass games natively. I can stream them from my Xbox though.
Okay.
So it's pretty good, generally speaking. Like it's way beyond any expectations I had for it, and I can only imagine a Steam Deck 2. The next generation of them that, who knows when they'll produce one, but when it does eventually come out, throwing it in a dock, having it attached to your TV and using a secondary controller, I could see where it would be a pretty decent console, surprisingly. Because, I mean, even this, if I put it on a 1080p TV, it's not bad, especially for slightly older games. Like I've probably mentioned this one before, but Alien Isolation is a game I've played multiple times. Plays fantastic on the Steam Decks at max PC settings. I can get pretty much 90 FPS all the time everywhere. Major battle stuff, it'll drop into the 70s, so I just lock it at 60. And it plays perfectly, and I get great battery life because I'm not using the full power of the system to do it. Got lots of overhead. And max settings, which it was a 30 FPS game on console. Like, I don't know. I'm pretty happy with it. It's pretty impressive.
That brings me around to one of the games that I kind of cheated a little bit in terms of replays, and I've already mentioned one of them, Stardew, which maybe we'll talk about later. But we're already talking about our Palace Shame for so long. We'll see how that goes. But one of the dangers from it, I was thinking of the Steam Deck there, and I was like, I could use it for this, and no, don't do that. So I have been playing. So I told myself after FIFA 18, I was done with Ultimate Team. It just sucked up my life building the best possible team, etc. But man, it's like EA strapped me to a chair and examined my brain and figured out what gives me the endorphin hits, because there's so many, like, obviously there's playing the game itself, but there's so many challenges, like, score a power goal or score 3 power goals in one match, and you get a player pack, 80 plus guaranteed 2-player pack, or whatever. And then if you do a bunch of challenges, you get a better player. And if you do an option for a better player, and do a bunch of other challenges then, and you do like 50 challenges or something, then you may get a team of the season player. It's like, oh my God. And what I was thinking about when you were talking about the Steam Deck is like, well, I know there's these things then as well called what are squad building challenges. And you have to, it's like a puzzle, but you use players and you have to fill in a team. So they say it's things like, and people who played FIFA will know this, but it's things like, build a team with perfect chemistry, with half from La Liga, the Spanish league, and half from the Premiership. So you'd have to get some players who complemented each other, even though they weren't playing in the same league. So you'd have to find some English players who played in the Spanish team, or the Spanish league rather, and some Spanish players who played in the Premiership, for example. That could be a way to do it. But those little challenges, I was thinking with your Steam Deck, is like, now, instead of like doing it till like 2 a.m. and not wanting to do one more, I could have it on the Steam Deck and be doing it always. I'm like, no, that's not a good thing. That is not a good use case for me. I need to do less of it and not more of it. But
no kidding.
Yeah, like I was meant to play a couple of different things in the last week, but I think I mentioned the last time that FC24, which is the new name for FIFA, for those who don't know, because they ended their licensing agreement with FIFA, FC24 dropped, to my surprise, on PlayStation Plus, and it dropped in the middle of the team of the season era, I guess, where they're announcing which players are the team of the season, and they have souped up version of all their cards. So I've just been immersed in that nonstop. It's like, I can't wait to finish my dinner so I can go down and do some more SBCs. The wife will say to me, can you get the potatoes or something? And I'll go, okay, I'll go get them. And I'll put on the PlayStation while I'm there. And she's like, 15 minutes later, says, where's my potatoes? I'm like, oh, yeah.
Oh, shoot.
I forgot about those.
Yeah.
So,
well, who knows? Who knows? It's all the data that Google's gathered on you and your conversations, and they feed it over to EA, and they're building the game around your personality, and they gotcha.
It's so addictive. I really dislike the game in some respects, because it gives you these it's giving you these, leaving a little trail of breadcrumbs for you. And you think you're going to get something great at the end of it, and then it's like, a duplicate player who's like not that good anyway, and you're like, oh man, like after spending an hours of effort just trying to get the challenges completed, but it keeps on coming back for more. And I must say that the game is pretty good as well. It feels different to FIFA 18, obviously, and even FIFA 22, which I played most recently. But I think it's pretty good. It's hard to know with FIFA which games are good or not, because you have the reviews are generally always the same, good, but not much of an improvement on last year. And whenever you look at the user scores, there's always a lot of hate for FIFA. So it usually gets like 2 out of 10 or something from the users. So, but I think it's a pretty good game overall, and that's what I've been doing a lot in the last week, which is kind of my replay, because it's reminding me of the experience I went through in FIFA 18. I might need saving something, Mike, in the next couple of months.
Well, we'll need to have an intervention 2 weeks from now. I'll line up some of your friends. We'll just all sneak up on you.
I did say in a few months, because I am in the middle of team of the season, so I don't want to intervention right
now. Yeah. So I've been playing Hellblade 2, because I loved Hellblade 1, and I'm having a hard time understanding the hate for this game. but that'll be a topic we can bring up in our next podcast. But I'm loving it. Like, it's Hellblade 1, but just graphically amazing. Like, it is undoubtedly the best looking game I've ever played. And you know how I like
that's quite the compliment coming from you.
It is, not tooting my own horn, but I'm kind of an eye candy guy, and I tell you, it's as close to photorealistic as I've seen. Even the varying facial expressions in combat, like when you're battling somebody else and you hit them, their facial expression reacts to whatever's going on in the battle. It's so impressive. I can see what they were going for, and I mean, I did play a little bit on Xbox as well, and the 30 FPS thing as well. It is what it is, but when you look at how the game looks graphically and the detail in the physics and everything that's going on, the lighting, the audio, I can kind of see why it's 30 FPS. Now, analyzing like my gameplay on PC, there's a little bit more of a weighting to, two primary threads still. A lot of the threads out of the 16 aren't being utilized much at all, like not heavily anyway. So there may be some room to balance it out, and maybe there's some room to eventually offer a performance mode with some tweaks on console. Well, whether they will or not, who knows, because they're selling the idea that, hey, it's a cinematic experience, blah, blah, blah. That's the way it's meant to be played. Kind of the same thing that Todd Howard did with Starfield, and hey, there's a performance mode now. So who knows? But it's amazing. I would like to get you into Hellblade a bit to see what you think. You can decide whether or not you want to do that with Hellblade. You don't have to play Hellblade 1 because it recaps everything that happened in Hellblade 1. Kind of gives you the highlights of it anyway. It's not a super long game.
Yeah, that's what you said the last time. So.
Yeah, it's like 6-7 hours. You can probably be through it if you're not hunting for all the stuff and you just play it. It doesn't take that long. And Hellblade 2, similar. It's not a big commitment in time to get through them. And man, I've been having trouble. Like, I'm having to force myself to quit playing Hellblade 2. I probably would. It's a game I would have sat down and just played it in one sitting.
Jeez.
Okay. Start to finish. Like, if I had, an 8-hour day or whatever, because I do try and hunt around for stuff. I've already missed 2 of the frickin' totem items, and I'm kind of mad. So I'm going to have to replay it just to get those 2. They're near the beginning where I missed them. I wasn't expecting stuff like that as early on, as it kind of threw them together fairly close. Right. So anyway, it's that's what I've been playing. Looking forward to diving back into BioShock, though. We should probably wrap this one up. I think we're at 45-minute mark. We're trying to keep them a little shorter, folks. So if you have watched this whole thing up to this point, in a couple weeks we'll be back, and we will talk about BioShock and try and streamline it a little bit. We're going to make our lists. We'll have something that we can talk about that's not during the actual podcast, so maybe we can make these a little bit shorter in the future. But I'm looking forward to seeing what you think of BioShock. If you touch Hellblade, that would be cool. I'd be happy to talk about the first one of those as well. And I will spend some time in Fallout 4, and we can talk a bit about that. And any other stuff that you why don't you promote your stuff, Finn, and where people can find you?
Yeah, so I don't have as big an online presence as you, but yeah, my Twitter handle is...
We'll get there.
You can see it there, Fin1010 with a 1 instead of the first I, and that's me online. And I'm thinking about doing a few other things as well. Maybe some Lego stuff. As you see, there's lots of Lego around me here. So,
big market for that.
Yeah.
You'll ditch this gaming dream in no time, and you'll be full-time Lego streaming.
I'll when I'm a Lego billionaire, I'll throw a couple of bricks your way. Don't worry.
Oh, please do. I can always use it. But and I am Mental9R. You can see at Mental9R on X. I am Caffeine Entertainment, which you know because that's where you are to watch this on YouTube, and we're also on Rumble. You can find me with Caffeine Entertainment. I'm posting on both. And other than that, you can find me on PlayStation, Xbox, and Steam, all as Mental9R. And you will find me on the TSWS Gaming channel on Fridays and Sundays on their podcasts, and occasionally with the guys at the Game Complainers on Wednesday nights. That's it. Please remember to like and subscribe. If you have made it this far, we really appreciate it, and we will catch you next time on the GMX podcast next week, and GMX podcast Backlogs and Replays 2 weeks from now. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys.